If you're one of the great Americans building our roads or bridges, you've probably seen a sign like this one posted on your job site. And you might be wondering what a prevailing wage is. The prevailing wage is the rate of pay on public works projects. It's based on how much most people make in their area for each craft. The idea is that when you help build this great nation of ours, you should earn a fair wage and a middle-class life, no matter where you live. It makes it cost-effective for contractors to hire locally, so they don't bring in cheap labor from out of town. It's just common sense that taxpayer-funded projects should create good jobs with competitive wages and benefits for the people who actually live in the community. And the last thing our government should do is set up a scheme for labor crimes and worker exploitation. 96 years ago, during the Great Depression, Americans were desperate for work. Companies across all industries took advantage of the dire situation by lowering wages. Greed prevailed. Uncle Sam decided that he shouldn't take part in this race to the bottom, so the government passed the Davis-Bacon Act. The law requires that federally funded construction projects pay workers a prevailing wage. Soon after, FDR's New Deal pumped some much-needed cash into the veins of this nation. Laborers got to work building America's infrastructure, and we pulled the U.S. out of the Great Depression, proving that working people are the backbone of the entire economy. When the middle class does well, everyone does well. State legislatures took note, and about half of the states passed their own prevailing wage laws. They make sure contractors and subcontractors working on state-funded projects pay their workers right. Because why would state governments want to lowball their own people? Well, here's the rub. There are some real scumbags out there, certain dark money groups and anti-worker politicians, fighting to overturn these laws. They argue that you get paid too much. They claim that they could get it done for much cheaper if they didn't have to abide by prevailing wage laws or pesky labor standards. They want the federal government to determine the prevailing wage using a different set of data collected by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, or BLS. This would slash wages by almost 70% in some areas. It's a sneaky way of weakening the federal prevailing wage without having to face the backlash that would come with eliminating the Davis-Bacon Act. And they have been attacking state prevailing wage laws as well. In the past 10 years, 6 states have repealed their prevailing wage laws, and the results were predictable. Workers get paid less. Plus, these states are more likely to bring in out-of-state contractors with lower labor standards and out-of-state workers with less training. This leads to higher rates of injuries, and worse. But at least they save big on construction costs, right? Of course they don't. The state gets shoddy work that's expensive to fix, and all those tax dollars go elsewhere along with the jobs. And when you've got construction workers in the community relying on food stamps and government assistance programs, it ends up costing the taxpayer more money. The contractor may pocket more profit, but the taxpayer suffers in the long run, and the workforce gets screwed. That's why laborers have been fighting back. In 2018, when Michigan lawmakers nixed the state's prevailing wage law, working people took a stand. They voted them out of office and elected pro-worker candidates who reinstated Michigan's prevailing wage law in 2023. This year, Missouri laborers spearheaded a campaign to expand the prevailing wage law in St. Louis. It passed unanimously in February of 2025. Now, contractors that receive tax credits from the city of St. Louis will no longer be able to lowball workers by paying the minimum wage. And we are not going to stop there. Laborers will advocate for prevailing wage laws in every city and every state, because good-paying jobs are worth the fight.